Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for your presence at today's board meeting and welcome every one of you to this virtual board meeting. Before we start this meeting, I would like to introduce myself. My name is General Tan Sri Muhammad bin Muhammad Ali, and I am the chairman of Rancak Niaga Berhad Board of Director meeting for 2022. Without further delay, let us start our meeting now. First of all, are there any apologies for absent in today's meeting, Miss Vinci?
Yes, Tan Sri. Dr. Nazir is currently on medical leave due to his knee surgery.
Thank you for informing, Miss Vinci. Are there enough in attendance to constitute a quorum?
Yes, Tan Sri, we have a quorum.
Very well. Since we have a quorum and the meeting have been duly convened was ready to proceed with business, I hereby call this meeting to order at 11 a.m. and Miss Vinci will record the minutes.
All right, Tan Sri.
Okay, now we may proceed with the business of this meeting as set out in the notice. You should all have received a notice of meeting that was either mailed or sent electronically, and unless there is an objection, I will take the notice and all resolution contained therein as read. Ms. Vinci, can you explain the voting procedure to us?
Sure, Tan Sri. I will now explain the procedure of voting for today's meeting. All the resolutions stated in the notice of the board meeting will be voted by showing hand, and every director has only one vote. A resolution is passed if it is agreed by all the directors present without dissent, or if a majority of the vote cast on it are in favor. That's all for the voting procedure. Is everyone clear with the explanation? Since there is no question, the meeting can now be proceeded.
Thank you, Ms. Vinci, for the clear explanation. So now, can we proceed to the next item regarding the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any amendments?
No.
Alright then, can someone propose the minutes to be passed as a true record?
I propose the minute to be passed as true record.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Dato' Irfan and Encik Idris. Okay, now we may proceed with the formal business of the meeting. I would like to pass them on to Dato' Nathan to discuss the first agenda for today, which is the approval of audited financial reports.
Thank you, Tan Sri. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will continue with first agenda. I have emailed all of you a copy of the audited financial statements, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31 December 2021, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flow for the year ended, and lastly, notes to the financial statements, along with the auditor finance report. Therefore, I believe everyone should have looked at it prior to this meeting. And now, I would like to highlight the key audit matters of the company. Based on the report from our external auditor, the financial statements prepared by Rancak Niaga Berhad have given a true and fair view of the financial position of the group and the company as of 31 December 2021. Then, financial performance and cash flows for the year ended is following the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standard recommendations and the requirement list in the Company Act 2016. So, before we proceed for the approval, does anyone have any question regarding the financial statements?
No.
No. Okay, then, if no, let us move on the approval of the audited financial statements. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer to approve the documents?
I would suggest myself and Dato' Irfan for the approval of financial statement. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Alright then, I hereby the resolution to approve the company's audited financial statement and report related financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st March 2022 to be passed. Thus, we will present the audited financial statement in the next AGM for discussion only. Ms. Vinci, could you please send us the document via email?
Sure, Tan Sri.
Okay, now I will proceed with the second agenda of today's meeting, which is the re-election of directors. I like to talk about the retirement and re-election of directors in line with Article 89 of the company's constitution. I believe everyone is aware of the issues of one-third of the directors retiring from office following the AGM in each consecutive year, or if their number is not 3 or a multiple of 3, the number crosses to one-third. As a result, we will have to select one-third of our board members for retirement via rotation, and two of us will be retiring from the board at the AGM. This is following Article 89 of the company's constitution. Would you mind explaining this part to all of us, Ms. Vinci?
Sure, you are correct, Tan Sri. According to Article 89 of the company's constitution, the director who will retire each year are those who have been in office the longest since their previous election. But the director who will retire will be chosen by lot from among those who became directors on the same day unless they agree differently.
So, who will be retired for the upcoming AGM?
I went through the register of director before the meeting. It appears that Encik Idris has never voted to retire and has been named as a director by the board of directors. As a result, Encik Idris would be the director to resign from the board at the next AGM according to the scenario. Encik Idris, what are your thoughts on this?
As for me, I have no objection to the statement made by Ms. Vinci. Therefore, I will step down at the AGM since I have never been elected as a director of Rancak Niaga Berhad since my first appointment.
Since we have 6 directors, then there should be 2 of the directors that must be retired. As we know, Encik Idris will be one of the directors that are going to retire, and we must elect another director to retire. Apart from Datuk Nazir, who was just re-elected at the last AGM, Datuk Irfan and Tan Sri Muhammad, who is now the chairman, they have been in office for the second longest period of time since the previous election of the director.
Dato Irfan, on the other hand, is immune from the retirement conditions specified in the Companies Act 2016 third schedule because he is the managing director. If that's the case, I want to volunteer to step down as the longest serving director. So this concludes that Encik Idris and I will retire at the next AGM. However, I still remember that a retiring director is eligible to be re-elected unless the director is ineligible. Therefore, the retiring director may have a chance to be re-elected at the next AGM. Am I correct, Miss Vinci?
That is true, Tan Sri. It is stated in the company's constitution that a retired director may be re-elected provided the retired director accepts and an ordinary resolution is agreed by the members.
This means that they could re-elected after that. So even though Encik Idris is a new director, I hope he still intends to steer the firm through this crisis.
I do agree with that.
I have no problem in continuing to serve this company, particularly during this difficult time.
I would like to ask everyone their opinion on the matter. Does everyone agree to re-elect Encik Idris and I for the position of director in the upcoming AGM?
Yes, agree.
Yes, agree.
Okay, as the majority of us agree, both Encik Idris and I will be re-elected as directors in our 10th annual general meeting. As a result, I like to state that two directors, Encik Idris and I, will be stepping down at the next AGM and we want to re-elect them. This will be presented for approval at the next AGM by the members. Okay, next, our third agenda is regarding the director's fees and benefits. Can we have Encik Idris to deliver his suggestion and comments in regards to this matter?
Thank you, Tan Sri. In the previous financial year, the amount of director's fees payable was up to 50,000 ringgit each, excluding the meeting allowance. This amount had been approved at the 9th annual general meeting and according with Section 230, subsection 1B of the Company Act 2016. The Remuneration Committee suggests that the director fees and benefits be maintained as the previous year for each director since we are not performing well financially for this year 2020. Therefore, I would like to ask if everyone agrees with the recommendation.
That is completely accurate. We should not increase the director's fees and benefit because it will increase our costs. And we, as a board of directors, should do our best to reduce company operating costs since we had to close our operations due to the Movement Control Order MCO issued as a result of the pandemic COVID-19 outbreak.
True. I concur with you on this point. Fees and perks for director will consequently represent a higher fixed cost, costing us a significant amount of money. What about the viewpoints of other directors?
This is something I also agree with. We must stress the company ability to survive during this tough era. And once things return to normal, we will thrive once more. When this happens, I believe it is reasonable to increase the fees and perks paid to directors. And in the midst of this pandemic, I don't believe it is necessary for us to enjoy the increased expenses when many others struggle to make ends meet.
That is correct, and hearing that from all of you is wonderful. Is there anything else you want to say about this or any issues you have? Alright then, since all of you have agreed to keep the director's fees at the same amount, we will seek approval for the set amount in our upcoming agenda, in upcoming AGM. Okay, now let's carry on with our fourth agenda for today. We will discuss about the appointment and remuneration of auditor of our company, Master Crow Malaysia PLT. Therefore, I am opening the floor for discussion.
As we agreed before, on the previous resolution, Mrs. Crew Malaysia PLT will be reappointed and continue as external auditor for our company until the conclusion of the next AGM of the company. I would like to retain Mrs. Crow Malaysia PLT as our external auditor as they give a satisfactory performance and fee free from any material misstatement while doing the audit report. Due to the restriction during COVID-19, auditors in most, if not all cases, can no longer visit audited entity premises. These create obvious practical challenges for auditors that need to obtain physical forms of evidence. But our company auditors still do their best to overcome these challenges. Therefore, I think we can reappoint them.
Thank you, Dato' Irfan. What others think? Does everyone agree to reappointment? And how about the audit fees?
Regarding the audit fees, it shall be based upon the degree of responsibility, risk and skill involved and the time necessarily occupied on the work. The data from the previous year shows that the audit fees amounted to 49,000 ringgit, and I think we should fix them at the same level as the previous year. Since the government just declared an endemic phase, I've heard that it would take at least 4 to 5 years for us to fully recover. So our main focus right now should be on the company's survival, and we will raise the fees once things are going well.
That is absolutely correct. Since we all know the COVID-19 had a significant impact on our firm as we had a difficulty continuing to operate. Given our inability to predict the future and our predicted financial success, it is preferable to keep the fees in place. Furthermore, I believe the auditor's sensibility are exchanged from past years.
I agree with Datin Imelda and Encik Idris. Indeed, we cannot jeopardize the company future by raising expenses, as many businesses are currently hit by the pandemic of COVID-19 and the world economy is in a worsening slam.
I agree with what all of you just said. So let's vote now. Please raise your hand if you agree with Dato' Irfan and Datin Imelda.
After a vote, it appears that the board as a whole is in agreement with this particular decision.
Thanks, Miss Vinci. Therefore, as all of us agree, we will reappoint Mr. Crow Malaysia PLT as our company auditor, and the audit fees will be fixed at 49,000 ringgit per annum. Okay, now we move to our fifth agenda for today's meeting. I will announce the authority to issue shares section 75 and 76. Miss Vinci, can you explain in detail regarding this section?
Sure, Tan Sri. Subject to Section 75 of Companies Act 2016, the director of the company are able to issue an allot share once they have obtained approval by way of resolution by the company. As for the purpose in Section 75, Subsection 1, approval may be confined to a particular exercise of that power or may apply to the exercise of that power generally. In any such approval may be unconditional or subject to conditions, and it shall be lodged with the registrar within 14 days from the date of approval. Thus, the authority shall begin immediately upon the adoption of this resolution and shall remain in effect until the end of the next annual general meeting of the company.
Miss Vinci, thank you for providing a very detailed explanation. Is there anything you'd like to ask about this matter?
No, thanks, sir.
Then we should get the approval of the authority in issuance the share. For those who agree and approve with this agenda, please raise your hand. Seems like all of you agree with this resolution. Therefore, I hereby declare that this agenda will be brought to our 10th AGM. Now we proceed to the next agenda, which is proposition on the change of name. During the last board meeting, we discussed about the changing the name of the company. Ms. Vinci, can you explain the details of the change of name?
Yes, sure, Tan Sri. At the previous board meeting, the board agreed on the changing of the company's name from Rancak Niaga Berhad to Rancak Niaga Holding Berhad in the last board meeting on 20th April 2022. You can refer to the circular to shareholder regarding the proposed change of name that I emailed to all of you before the meeting began. From the draft, I would like to highlight that the approval of Companies Commission of Malaysia (CCM) for the use of proposed name Rancak Niaga Holding Berhad, which was obtained via CCM email dated 25th May 2022, and the reservation of the name is valid for a period of 30 days from 25th May 2022, which is the validity period. The proposed change of company's name is subject to the approval of shareholders of the company by way of special resolution, which require a majority of not less than 3/4 of such members of the companies is being entitled to vote in person or by proxy at AGM. Regarding the process of changing company's name, we must first submit form of application for availability of names and reservation to the registrar as required by Section 26, Subsection 1 of the Company Act 2016 in order to examine the availability of the company's name. The registrar then has the authority to decide whether a given name is unattractive, unsatisfactory, or identical. If the registrar is satisfied with the proposed name is not subject to subsection 26 (1), the registrar shall confirm the proposed name availability and reserve it for the period of 30 days from the date of the application launchment or for such longer term as the registrar may allow.
Thank you, Ms. Vinci, for the explanation. Are there any questions from anyone?
I would like to ask, is there any reason why we need to change our company name from Rancak Niaga Berhad to Rancak Niaga Holding Berhad?
I think there isn't a compelling explanation. I believe it is more suitable to use Rancak Niaga Holding Berhad rather than Rancak Niaga Berhad.
Ms. Vinci, would you mind checking on the availability of the name?
No problem, Tan Sri. I will notify all the director when I have checked the availability of the name.
Before we proceed to the vote, does anyone have any issues?
No,
No,
Tan
Tan
Sri.
Sri.
No answer.
With that, I would like to solicit your consent. Please raise your hand if you agree to change the company name. The vote is already counted and all the directors agree to change the name of the company. Therefore, these matters will be brought to the forthcoming 10 AGM. Okay, now let us move on to the next agenda, which is 7th agenda regarding with the investment in Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd. I am thinking of investing in the company as the tourism sector is starting to see a brighter futures. Thus, I think it will be beneficial for us to make the investment. But first, I would like to hear more details about this matter. I believe Dr. Imelda has prepared a proposal on behalf of Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd, right?
Yes, Tan Sri. I'll present the proposal now. I have already emailed it to all of you yesterday. First and foremost, I would want to provide you with some background information on our firm. As you may be aware, Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd is a tourism-based company that is more focused on drawing consumers from various locations in order for the firm to become well-known both inside Malaysia and outside the nation. So Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd, for your knowledge, it offers potential stability and company fundamentals. This is because Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd is constantly concerned about the financial health of the company, as we will be monitoring the inflow and outflow of funds. We also ensure that this firm abides by all applicable laws and regulation. For example, a company's owner financial obligation is to file his or her tax return on time to avoid being punished or worse, being subject to tax evasion. Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd has the potential to be stable since it has shown indicators of increasing revenue and also is capable of meeting its financial responsibility. Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd has a competent management team in place to run their company, and they also has the capacity to recognize and capitalize on possibilities. Specific goals are defined when Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd begins operation, and our firm will guarantee that all components of the organization work together and efficiently. There will be proper management that ensures that all aspects of Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd will work together to achieve a shared goal. Investors like organizations with stable senior management and low turnover rates throughout upper and middle management, as we all know. Furthermore, Travel Sdn Bhd has a huge and consistent client base, indicating that it has a strong competitive advantage and a significant influence on its target market. Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd also strive to provide the best client experience possible, since this is the first step towards establishing a mutually beneficial relationship between our company and our consumers. When we have finished, we will place. We may focus our efforts on trying to understand business goal and how we can reach those goals instead of putting time and effort into teaching our customers about our business, demonstrating that our firm has a better competitive edge and a significant influence on its target market. Furthermore, we feel that Rancak Travel Sdn Bhd has earnings stability since it will lessen the likelihood of predicting mistakes and hence risk. I would like to notify you about Melter Sdn Bhd's profit estimation, as our management predicted a profit or of 25.5 million ringgit in 2020 and 30 million ringgit in 2021. This demonstrates that we anticipate a greater return on investment for potential investors in the range of 9% to 13% in 2020 and 21, as we want to improve earnings. Furthermore, our managers expected that Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd would share 100% of its distributable revenue based on distributable income. I am confident that Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd will be a big success and will provide a steady stream of revenue, profit, and also the return on investment.
Wow, your proposal is impressive. What do you guys think?
I have a question regarding this. Why did you want to invest in Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd?
As I have stated, I believe the tourist industry has the ability to expand globally. This may result in a greater return on investment in Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd. The bigger the financial return to Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd, the more investors will be.
Yes, I also agree with you, Tan Sri. The tourism industry has a promising future, and I am confident that it will bring in large profit for both the company and the investors.
Thank you, Tan Sri, for providing such a detailed description of your interest in Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd. I also agree with everyone's opinion regarding this matter, as I could not find any reason to object to this investment.
Okay, since nobody opposed, I hereby conclude that all of the company's board members have approved the suggestion to invest shares in Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd. Now, let us move on to the 8th agenda, which is related to the investment in Ranchak Travels Sdn Bhd. For investment purpose, we intend to seek an 70 million loan from M-Bank Islamic Berhad. I would like to invite Datuk Nathan to give further explanation of this matter.
Thank you, Tan Sri. We are looking for an 70 million ringgit Malaysia secure loan to buy and build a new contemporary and high-tech factory with a lot of space at Kulim High-Tech Park. As you may be aware, we ought to use the land in Mukim Pengkalan Kundur as collateral to acquire a loan. And we choose to build a factory there since it is a key position for enhancing the production and efficiency of our products. Other concerns include the fact that the old factory space we demolished was too small, as well as a shortage of electricity, which is why we choose to construct a new factory with the larger space. The overall cost of constructing a facility and acquiring land was 70.5 million ringgit Malaysia.
I have one question regarding this matter. What is the interest and monthly repayment of the loan?
In terms of interest in monthly repayment, the loan from M-Bank Islamic Berhad has a 2% interest rate for a period of 40 years. So the entire loan amount, including interest, is 126 million ringgit Malaysia with a monthly payment of 262,500 ringgit Malaysia.
Datuk Nathan, thank you for your explanation. However, we cannot make a loan in my perspective because our assets are less than 25% of 70 million ringgit. And Bank Islamic Berhad interest rate is rather high, and I believe it will put a strain on our finance. We must trust the company ability to endure during this tough moment. And when things return to normal, we will reflect on that loan.
I concur with Encik Idris' viewpoint. First, we must stabilize our financial situation, after which we will revisit the topic.
We will proceed to the voting section if there were no additional questions. As a result, please raise your hand if you agree with Encik Idris' choice in this situation. Alright, as a result of the majority's agreement, I proclaim the agenda to be resolved. Next, for the 9th agenda, we are facing towards the endemic of COVID-19. I think we can all agree that it is best to get back to our old norms on having physical AGM for this year.
Yes, I also agree that we should have a physical AGM for this year.
I beg to differ, as I think it's better if we conduct a hybrid AGM instead of physical AGM, because even though we are facing toward the endemic phase, there are still SOP that we need to strictly comply with. Therefore, I think it will be a hassle to conduct a physical AGM.
Yes, I think Dato' Irfan is right.
Okay, since we have different opinion, let's put it into a vote. Please raise your hand to vote. All those in favor of conducting a physical AGM? All those in favor of conducting a hybrid AGM? Okay, it seems that most of us agree to conduct a hybrid AGM. I've asked Ms. Vinci to prepare the appropriate SOPs for both physical and hybrid AGM. Since we have decided to have a hybrid AGM, could you please explain how the AGM will be conducted, Ms. Vinci?
Alright, Tan Sri. The hybrid meeting will be conducted as follows. Majority participants through virtual meeting via TIIH online website at https://tiih.online. Minimal physical participant at Dewan Seminar Lot 10 Kompleks Dagangan Changdun 06010 Changdun, Kedah. So far, I believe this is the best way to conduct the hybrid meeting. Do you all agree with it?
Alright, since everyone agree, let us move on to the 10th agenda. Now we have reached our last agenda for today. Now shall we have a look at the draft notice of our 10th AGM that has been prepared by Ms. Vinci. Ms. Vinci, can you give a short briefing on the agenda that will be brought to the 10th AGM?
Yes, Tan Sri. The agenda that will be brought to the next AGM are Agenda 1, Audited Financial Statements, Agenda 2, Re-election of Directors, Agenda 3, Approval of Directors' Fees and Benefits, Agenda 4, Appointment and Fixing Remuneration of Auditor, Agenda 5, Authority to Issue Shares, Section 75 and 76, and Agenda 6, Change of Name. I think that's all the agenda that will be brought to the 10th AGM. Is there anything I left out?
No.
Therefore, since there are no amendments, I declare this agenda has been resolved. Hearing no other business, is there any motion to adjourn?
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
I second the motion.
A motion has been made by Dato' Imelda and second by Dato' Nathan to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Okay, if there is no objection, I declare the meeting to be adjourned. Thank you everyone for spending your time for attending this virtual meeting, and I appreciate your cooperation throughout this meeting. Have a wonderful day and take care everyone.